This video is about how I plant and feed my water lilies. I've tried quite a few different ways and I'm trying a few more this coming season. G'day, my name is Kev. The aim of my channel and website is to help people build and maintain ponds on a budget. Water lilies are such an iconic plant. They naturally like to grow in wetland environments. The bottom of a wetland is predominantly nutrient-rich sediment that has accumulated over long periods of time. Think about the nutrient-rich sediment that is found on floodplains. That's the type of rich soil that water lilies are accustomed to growing in. Now, a backyard pond isn't a wetland. For a start, we have a pond liner and we certainly don't have layers of muck or sediment on the bottom of our ponds. At least we shouldn't if we want nice, clean, clear water and no algae problems. So first I'll discuss the tried and true method of planting your water lilies. Later in the video I'll talk about some of the different trials I've done and am attempting. So the tried and true method is to get a nice big pot or basket and fill it with nutrient-rich soil. You can buy special water lily soil that is basically just soil from rich floodplains, but I'm a cheapskate, so I just dig up some clumpy clay soil from my garden. So first I dig up or remove the lily rhizome. The best time of year to do this is winter when they're dormant. Over the years your lilies will multiply and every couple of years you'll need to divide them and repot them. I half fill a pot with my soil. The bigger the pot, the better. I'm using a 10-inch pot or 25 mil. This pot has no holes in it at all. These are the types of pots I'm using in this pond. I like the no holes as I feel like it makes it harder for the nutrient-rich soil and the fertilizer to leach out into the pond. Some people prefer the mesh baskets with holes as the roots can escape and remove whatever nutrients they can find from within the pond. You'll see in a minute that I'm running some tests with baskets, but not in this traditional potting method. And now if the pond was bigger, I'd use bigger pots. The bigger the pot, the better. Again though, personal choice. I like to have plenty of open water inside the pond. Before I add more soil over the rhizome, I add a fertilizer tablet, specifically for use with water plants. I'll add a link down in the description for anyone that's struggling to find a suitable product. I then add a thin layer of soil over the rhizome and then about an inch of pebbles over the top. This is just to keep that soil in the pot and not floating around in the pond. Once it's all potted, it can go straight into the water. I'm putting these ones in an old cattle trough because I'm running some experiments and I want these ones next to them. When I put them in the pond, I like to create pockets with rocks so I can't see the pots when I'm looking at the pond. Lilies potted this way should be good for a couple of years in the pots, and then you'll need to divide them again. I feed the lilies twice during the year, once at the beginning of spring and once at the beginning of summer. If I've just repotted them, I won't do the spring feeding. And the feeding's just with those fertilizer tabs I showed when I was potting. You just push it through the pebbles into the soil as deep into the roots as you possibly can. So that's the traditional way. It works, but what if you want the water lilies to consume nutrients that are already in the pond? So those of you that watch my videos know I love bog filters, and plants are one of the key components of that type of filter. Plants are pretty good at helping the nitrogen cycle complete itself so that we don't need to worry about water changes. I'm all about making my ponds as hands-off as possible. I want them to look good all the time, but I don't want to be cleaning them all the time. So in this pond, what I did is I planted the lily directly into the rock and gravel inside the pond with no soil. Here the lily needs to find its own nutrients. I added no fertilizers either. So it didn't flower as well as the other lilies that had soil and fertilizer, but it certainly did put on lots of new growth throughout the season. That was its first season, so it'll be interesting to see how it performs this coming season. Because it's not in a pot, it may try and take over, but I'll just need to get in there and split it apart. I don't think that's going to be much of an issue every few years. Last season in this pond, I tried a lily in a pot, but in just gravel. The pot had no holes, the same as the first one I showed, and I did give it fertilizer. This experiment was a failure. I only got about 4 leaves the entire season. The year before, when I had the lily planted with the garden soil and gravel just over the top, it thrived, lots of pads and lots of flowers. It was a divided lily, so I'm leaving it in for another season, just in the gravel, to see if anything changes. Certain viewers have told me that their lilies do really well in just gravel, but in my trial, that wasn't the case. I think possibly the roots not being able to escape out into the pond is the issue, because in the other pond, where it's in the rock and the gravel, it's doing fine, but in there the roots can get out and explore for pockets of sediment. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see if another season in the pot makes a difference. And this year I wanted to try something completely different. A few months ago I was asked about an anoxic filter. I'd never heard of one before, so I needed to learn more. Turns out it's a pretty fascinating subject and could really help out lots of people looking for low maintenance ponds capable of supporting lots of fish. Basically, the filter itself is created inside a lily basket. The science behind the filter is quite complex, but creating it is simple. To create the filter, all you need is a lily basket, some natural clay kitty litter that's non-clumping, and a source of iron. I think I'll do another video trying to explain the filter in a basic way, but first I just want to experiment with it. In the meantime, if you want to learn more about anoxic filters, you can visit Dr. Kevin Novak's channel. He's constantly putting out content on how the system works. Anyway, all the testimonials that I've read say that any plants, when grown in these baskets or filters, go gangbusters, so I really want to try it. I created 2 baskets and I've put them both up into the Dream Pond bulk filters, so I'll see how they go. If you want to see the whole process of how I built these baskets using the anoxic principles, just let me know down in the comments section, and if there's enough interest, I'll do a video. I'm sorry if this video got a little long-winded. I hope it helped out a few of you. And subscribe to see how the experiments pan out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.